Hello, my name is Gunnar Parent. I am a medical student at OSU at the Cherokee Nation. I'm presenting my research that I've worked on with Dr. Joe Landrum and Dr. Nicholas Jacob titled Farming and the Hygiene Hypothesis. Over the past few decades, there has been an increase in the prevalence of allergic disease. One theory to explain this is the hygiene hypothesis. The hygiene hypothesis found an inverse correlation between the incidence of hay fever and household size in British children born in 1958. There have been several adaptations to the hygiene hypothesis, the most widely accepted right now being the old Franz mechanism, which was proposed by Dr. Rook. Dr. Rook took an evolutionary standpoint to explain that we don't have those same vital environmental exposures that we once had in small hunter-gatherer groups. Therefore, our immune system isn't in balance. Based on this background, we hypothesized that patients who grew up on a farm would have a lower incidence of allergic rhinitis compared to patients who did not grow up on a farm. Our data consisted of the medical records from a single rural ENT allergist in southeastern Oklahoma from 2012 to 2018, and that data is broken down in Table 1 over here. For patients to be included in the study, they had to, 1, complete the new patient kiosk questionnaire, which had questions such as, what are you visiting us for? Did you grow up on a farm? And 2, they had to visit with the specialist after completing the kiosk. We met exemption criteria for medical IRB under federal guidelines. We requested an SQL query of the data from our medical records vendor. And from there, we conducted a priori power analysis to determine the number of patient records we would need to reach 95% confidence in our study. From there, we used the Python programming language to run an X-squared goodness of fit test to determine the p-value of patients who grew up on a farm and had allergies to those who did not grow up on a farm and had allergies. Based on our priori power analysis, we determined that we needed 9,412 medical records to achieve 95% confidence. We were able to include 10,649 medical records in our study. We determined that the prevalence of allergic rhinitis was found to be statistically less in patients who did not grow up on a farm compared to patients who grew up on a farm. We calculated a p-value of less than 0.001, which indicated that patients who grew up on a farm were more likely to have allergic disease. And that is outlined here in Figure 1, showing 95% confidence comparing patients who grew up on a farm and had allergies to patients who did not grow up on a farm and have allergies. Our retrospective chart review findings differed markedly from our theory. It's important to note that the question that we asked is, did you grow up on a farm? Not, are you currently living on a farm? The specifics of these questions are pertinent to comparison of our data with the hygiene hypothesis, as well as other research that has looked at the hygiene hypothesis. One limitation of our study may have been the new patient kiosk questionnaire not specifying which type of farming environment patients grew up on. Studies have shown that the most prominent protective effect comes from cattle farms, and that bovine dander can travel up to 3 miles from farm locations. Based on this background, we decided to map areas of livestock interaction within 3 miles of Ada city limits, which is a city that constituted a significant portion of our patient population. As you can see, we discovered 42 areas of livestock interaction. Circles indicate cattle were in the area. Rectangles indicate horses and donkeys. The star represents a stockyard where frequent livestock transactions take place. And the diamond represents an agriplex where they have livestock interaction as well. So in conclusion, patients who did not grow up on a farm had a lower incidence of allergic rhinitis compared to patients who grew up on a farm. And this may be due to a protective effect on rural communities via incidental exposures. However, little research has been done on these types of exposures, and further research is needed on these types of communities to get a better understanding of how allergies work and the development of allergic disease. This slide is just my citations, and this is my contact information. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email. Thank you.